interesting how fast time is moving. I don't know about you all on the call, but to me, it feels like time now has wings because it's already, we're already in April. People are now people are beginning to get all anxious about getting those taxes done on time because they know they only have a few days until the 15th or, a couple weeks at the most. And it's because time to me seemed like it's going by so fast. And I told my dad, because he doesn't live far from me, and I said, we should plan to see each other at least, make a habit of having dinner together, once, twice a month, because time is going by so fast. And we talk on the phone and we laugh. But one of the reasons why we moved here was to be able to see him more often. And it's almost like I should see him more since we're so close. But yeah, so everybody agreed, and we had a great dinner on Sunday, and we laughed and talked. But time to me seems like it's going so fast. So all I want to say is don't delay. Whatever you want to do, go ahead and get it done, because before you know it, August will be here. August will be here. We'll have a great time, and we'll be back home. So make sure whatever you're focusing on, whatever you want to happen between now and whatever your goals are, write it down, make it plain, and do whatever it takes to achieve it. So if you have to do something on a daily basis, make sure you do it. Because if you start with the someday, someday is when, tomorrow is when. So you have to do it now. So whatever it is that you have your goal set, and if it's for Surge365, which one of the goals should be for your business, that's why you're in it, definitely do something towards getting your goals accomplished. If it's a physical thing and you're supposed to do this and this each day, do it. And take out your time. I was listening to I listen to so many different podcasts and listen and read so many different books. But one thing, I think it was Maxwell. I think it was a Maxwell class way back when. I'm not sure. But he was saying how, it could be Bob Proctor too. I really don't remember because I listened to a lot of them. But they were saying how when they hear people say they're taking a time management class, they chuckle. Because what is a time management class? And they went on to say how time, you cannot manage time because time is going to continue to tick, 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 tick. It's not like you can say, oh, it's 1:10. Okay, 1:10, you stay right here for a minute because I have to don't move 1:10. You cannot manage time. And so when I heard that, I thought that was really good because you don't think about that. You don't think about, I'm gonna take a time management class. Time management, you cannot manage time. The only thing you could manage is what you do during the day. That's all you can manage because time is going to continue to move. And so if you say you're going to do something within that hour between 2 and 3, you're not managing the time between 2 and 3. You're managing what you do between that time, 2 and 3. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. And everybody, of course, looks at everything differently. Some people would say, no, I can manage time. No, you can't manage time. You can manage what you do with time. And then you figure a lot of folks will say, oh, well, it's just a play on words and it's how you see it and blah, blah, blah. But that's what I believe. I believe that you can only manage yourself. You can't manage anything else. You can only manage yourself. You can only control yourself. You can't even control people around you. You can only control yourself. So even people that are around you that are doing whatever they're doing, you can't control them. You can only control yourself. And then the way you control them is by the way you react to what they're doing. Because even like a little baby, if they do something wrong and you don't do that, stop, yell at them, make them nervous, make them scared, they're going to cry, blah, blah, blah. And so with that reaction, you got them to stop doing it, but they went on it. They started to do whatever it was, be it try to touch the stove, try to put something my son did one time, put a bobby pin into a socket. They do the silliest things. So you can't stop them. The only thing you could do is once it's going on, you could then stop them and try to control the situation. And even with that, you're not really controlling them. You're controlling yourself on how you react to what they're doing. So it is so much into that, so much that you can peel back and have a conversation on that and how that works. And stopping people, you can't stop people. People are going to do it. You can ask them if you know they're going to do it, or if you're seeing them do something, then you can say, oh, wait a minute, you might not want to do it that way. You might want to do it this way. And then you're controlling how you are reacting to the person. So I don't know why I went on that line, but that's all about the time and how fast time is moving and how we have to make sure we don't miss it because it's just going that fast. And Rick and I, we play this game and we make each other laugh. We'll ask the question, when did we do this? When did we do that? Or for example, it'll be, Wednesday afternoon. We work out on Monday mornings, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So it'll be Wednesday afternoon, and we'll be doing so much stuff, and we got so much going on, and he's doing over here, and I'm doing over there. And then because our office is just across the hall from each other. And I'll say, when did you work out? And he'll start laughing because it feels like we didn't work out just 3 hours ago. We worked out yesterday because that's how much we're doing and how fast time is moving. So it's really, to me, it's just interesting. I don't know why that just came to mind on how fast time is moving, but we have to make sure we enjoy time as we're going through it. So, you want to live, laugh, have a good time, of course, during these times. Only do things that are fun. I know there are some things that we have to do. I know there's things I have to do that I don't like to do because it's not fun, but I don't mind doing it because, you got to do it and get it done, like laundry, cleaning the house, all that kind of stuff. But you can also find fun times in there. So make sure you're having fun. Make sure you're doing what you want to do. And if you write your goals down, make it plain. Make sure if you're supposed to do this, whatever it is, each day, make sure you do it. If you have to design yourself a schedule, make sure you do it. Does somebody want to say something?
I was going to say, it's so interesting, what you're talking about and not being able to manage time because it's fixed, but being able to manage what you do with time. And the thing that comes to mind as you're talking is redeeming the time, from Ephesians, because the days are evil, which basically is encouraging us to make the most of our time and the opportunities, recognizing the spiritual challenges and things that are happening during, this current era. And but really taking time seriously, because you're right. And as Darlene had made a comment, it waits for no one.
Right.
And time is on a pace. Right?
Time is moving.
Time is moving. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, we'll say, okay, when did we work out? And it'll be in the afternoon, but it'll feel like it was yesterday or the day before because time is moving so much. Now, is that because of what we're doing and continually being busy and redeeming the time that it creates a separation from events moving forward? And I would like to believe that that is the case because, Brenda, we do a lot, and it just keeps on moving. And so when we look back, we're looking back at that time difference of the things that we have done. And I think that's probably why it's like that. Oh, I don't know, but I think
Rick?
go right ahead. Hey, Ron and Linda.
Yeah, Linda will be here shortly. She's taking a webinar on mail pound for British Islands, so in the Caribbean. So when she gets done, she'll be coming over. She's excited. She had her last visit with the nurses that have been taking care of her for the last 14 weeks. So she's excited. She'll be here in a little bit. A couple years ago, when I was intensely at a years ago, I was taking sales courses in my job, and my company made offer I could take advantage of different companies. I had a chance to take the Xerox school salesmanship. I mean, that's where you learn to wear a white shirt, red tie, gray suit, um, leather tie shoes. I mean, that was a uniform. I mean, that was just how you thought. But anyways, back in those days, I became conscious of understanding, and I don't know, it's just I've just carried it. I don't think about it. I'm open for business 24 hours, 7 days a week. I never turn that off. I chose in my life to think that way. I'm serving 24 hours, 7 days a week. I'm serving. That's never shut off. It's not like I'm in my service mode or I'm going to be in my prospecting mode. I'm never not in any of those aspects. I chose to consciously have that as the driving force, my faith, my action, my service, and then our business. I'm open 24/7. So it's not like I got to stop to think about, am I going to do business today or am I going to talk content? No, it's just so having forced myself into that. And, I miss, that's how, what reminds me, there are times when we're someplace and I miss talking to somebody. Well, that's one of those times I want to boot myself in the behind because that's a person that maybe would have changed their lives. So I kind of like will not punish myself, but I will remind myself if I miss out on something I'm supposed to do that way. And I don't know, it just makes it so easy. It's how I live. It's how I can continually just continue to be like we are. It's like today, Linda's nursing. She's been coming for, I don't know, 13 weeks now, twice a week, 3 times a week. She's been coming to the house to take care of her, and she's done such a phenomenal job. So this morning, and being one of the last times, I said to her, well, when her husband just had bladder surgery last week, and it's a kind of a rough thing he's going through. And he's not going to be able to go back on a job, by the way. Um, and we learned other things today. But anyways, I said to her, look he's going to have this other surgery as soon as you find out what this is, which in the next week they'll know. After he has that and we go and you're in a recovery mode, we want to offer to you, we'd like to do a little day trip someplace and you'll be our guests. She was flattered. She just, you do that? And I said, of course, look what you've done. You helped save Linda's life. So then we're talking a little bit, and then she starts unveiling to us all the kind of travel and trips and cruises and all the stuff. And she's going on a trip next week or next month with her family. They're going to Disney because family members, and they're close, big family. Turns out now, of course, I pulled up a Vortex card and I went right into Vortex mode. Now, look, I know we talked about what we're going to do with you and your husband, Ken. But here's something that you ought to take a look at, and I should tell him about different trips and asking about it. So I went through the Vortex program. Then I said, you could make this a family program. She has a son who had when he was 5 years old, had a stroke. He just got promoted. Say how long he's come along. He just got promoted at Pepsi, and he's in management there today. But I said, you guys as a family, you do this travel, you talk about your daughter, all these things. You ought to have something like this as a side hustle for you and your family. Oh my goodness. I can't begin to tell you where it's going. Well, they're talking to us tonight. See, we never stop looking at and we're talking to people how we might find a way to benefit them. And it's such a joy. And it's only because I never shut down. I'm not in business at 8 to 5 or 9 to 10 or only on Monday through Friday. That's where I live. That's what we're doing. And it's not a chore to do that. It's not like I've got some special uniform to go on. It's who we are. And we chose to be that. And that's what makes this business so easy.
That's funny, Ron. I mean, that is just amazing. Mariette called while you was talking, and she says, "Did Ron tell you the good news?" And so she said, "Ron and Linda are the only people I know that Linda's just about ready. She's not even, she's like on the verge of like major stuff happening. And they're like, do you travel? They're at the hospital around Linda's, oh, we just made it here on time. Oh, Brian, if you had been, late, it would have been a terrible, terrible thing. And they get over that. And then, what's the last trip you've taken? Ron doesn't stop. Linda doesn't stop. That's why they're successful. The most successful people are the ones that get it. What do they get? They get that they are in this life in service to other people. And whenever they see a window or a door to be able to provide a service to someone else besides themselves, they can't, it comes from within, and it's pulled out. It's almost like a pastor, that the Holy Spirit, somebody's talking and all of a sudden the pastor starts talking about whatever they need. It just pulls out of them, that thing that they need to hear. And where that person, so much to where that person would say, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was going through. This happens in the spirit realm. So Ron and Linda, even in the hospital, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're working this business for that right service reason, and I have to add this, and you're paying attention to the inspiration that's telling you to do something, the only way you would not do whatever it's telling you is you're overriding it. What overrides it? Fear may override it. There's a lot of different things. Only a person knows. When they get that voice, that still small voice that says, go here, do this, say that, and they hear it, they understand it, and then something happens and it doesn't come out. They don't make that connection. The success of the business is that it's not even Surge. It's obedient to that still small voice. Because that whenever you're obedient to that still small voice, it's taking you down a path that's already been destined. And you're making a connection. You're making a divine connection. And on that path to continue it, not to hold it, not to stop it. So Ron, when I hear your testimony, and it's all in testimony, it's just pretty exciting. Like you said, you don't go out to work the business, you work it while you're out. And like I was saying on the call last night, and for those on the call last night with Delby, boy, oh boy, oh boy, huh, Chantel and Darlene,
He
Fred,
was turned on. I'll tell you, I love to listen to
Ron.
him.
Go ahead.
His enthusiasm and it's like, well, see, here's what I know. I met him in Cancun last year when we were at the convention last year. When I went down, I had my knee replaced, and I was in the pool at 85-degree weather. It was better than the 20 that's here in Buffalo today. And then Saturday night was the banquet, and we were over at the hotel put on a big banquet for us out on the patio, and it was dancing and music, dancing in the moonlight, our theme song, Rick.
I
And
know.
that's where I met him, and Chris introduced him, and so I couldn't wait to talk to him. And then, of course, we get to talk, listen to him regularly. I'm just telling you, he is reinvigorated my desire to make sure that we get a new team built that can make and carry us forward. And that's a responsibility as a team member that Lynn and I both share, that we have hold on our hearts as responsible to do that. But God is bringing people into our world. I remember when I was young, I worked at a mall, and I was introduced in the market in the world of direct sales marketing. And I used to go into the mall on Tuesday night, and I had my suit on. Back then, if I had my uniform, and I go in my suit and I go looking for people.
I know what
I
you're talking
probably
about.
chased more people away than I ever did welcome anybody because nobody wanted to talk to a guy in a suit. especially if they're in the mall shopping and they're in their own time. I didn't care because I want to talk to them. Well, no, that's not how it works. It's I can be anywhere and I can be in the worst jeans I look. I can be just climbed out of the basement trying to clean something up and I run over to get some, and I run into somebody. It's just be there. I remember, Rick, you said these words to me, and I caught this early on. You said these words: God didn't need you to do stuff, He needed you to be there. When He wanted you, He needed you to be there. And it was your ability, your willingness to be present, to be ready to move and to share and not hide your light under a bushel. Remember, I think that's Proverbs. No, it's Ephesians. Don't go on the mountain and hide your light in a bushel. Show it off so the world could see you. Well, that was a relearning moment for me when you shared that with me. Yeah, that, by the way, conferred to me what we're doing is the right thing to be doing.
He doesn't need my efforts. He needs my obedience.
Yes.
Like, you don't need my efforts. But it's funny because when you say that about stalking people, Brenda and I would go to the mall or to different department stores, and we're just spying people like over the clothing section. Oh, let me go over here and take a look at this. This sells racks, and Brenda's peeking around the rack at the person, stalking people. Then all of a sudden, security person comes up, says, "Are you going to buy something?" And we never really had this happen, but we've had this happen to people. Well, I'm gonna ask you to leave the store. Because whenever you're watching someone's watching you. Anybody else want to talk about tonight before I share a little bit, and or you can share what Delby was talking about last night.
He was talking about making money.
Making money. So Delby, he gave us a little hint on what's going to be released in August, and it's called the Power Line. And he said there's other companies that have done this before, created a power line where, based on your ID number, which you are assigned when you come in the business, it's almost like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're going to look at that line serially, date, time stamped when a person comes in the business. Boom, 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 boom. All the way from the beginning, all the way to the last person. And they're going to pay us. We're going to earn money for every person active every month across the company.
Wow.
So they said when the date timestamp, when a person came in, they're locking their spot with their TTP. They got to come in with both sides of the business. The travel side, they've got to purchase the travel product and also the SBA. But when they do, they're locking their spot in Surge365. Why is it important to lock your spot? Because the person that comes in today is going to be paid looking back at the person that came in 20 years ago, 21 years ago, or in Jeannie Sharpless case, 24 years ago. They're looking at all the people in Surge365. And we're going to earn money for every active person every month across the company. Now, this includes existing active people before you and the new ones after you. 20% of the monthly income is going to be paid. The more active people equals more money. Who does that, right? And so every new person that comes on board will be placed below the previous one in an endless chain. So that on a monthly basis, 20% of the money that comes in is going to be paid across the board. every month, beginning in August. Beginning in August. And so if you have, now check this out. Now, better to give birth than to raise the dead. However, comma, a person can reactivate. And when they reactivate, they may have been in, however many years ago. But whenever they reactivate, if they're still, call up Surge, let them know I want to reactivate my membership. Their ID number, their rep ID number is where they're locked in. Of course, they have to renew the SBA and the TTP, but that ID number is where they're locked in. Can you imagine that? Do you know why it's so important for people to get that are still looking and searching out there, that have been in Surge or even probably the previous company, to reactivate in Surge and lock in a position from a year ago, 2 years ago, 6 years ago? Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the verge of something really, really big, getting paid for people before you and people after you. So what does that mean? That means if you have somebody that's looking to come into the business, they need to know about our power line, which will be starting in August, but they need to get in position now, Anyone else want to add to that or talk to it or comment on it?
Well,
You know
yeah.
what? Hey, leaders,
Hello,
absolutely
hello.
phenomenal. I'm telling you, I couldn't even sleep last night. It was like on and on and on. Like, oh my goodness. This is a time of urgency. This is the time to be the owner of your legacy like never before. We were the solution before, but now we are really the solution. People are going to be entering your team, but you have no idea. Both of those sites have to remain active before you participate in this. All the people have to have both sites to participate in this. This is the time that was told us, do not miss this. Do not miss this. Whatever you need to do, and you have to settle this in yourself, every one of us. Our site went down one time since we've been in this company, a credit card. Other than that, if I had to sell a house, a shoe, a car, something, the site does not go down, ever. That is a commitment that we made to the legacy of our children's children's children. But the money, and this is extra money. He said, this is extra. This is not even the comp plan we have right now. This is extra money that's going to start coming into your back office because you are active and remain true to this company. This is absolutely phenomenal and game over if you had any doubt before. This is the time to say, I am so glad that I stayed put. And I believe that the faithfulness of the people will cause you to receive the blessing. I truly believe that. If you really, 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 I remember Coach Tomer told that to Juliet. He said, Juliet, a woman that was sleeping in her car, homeless, literally, serious place in her life. And he told her, he said, Juliet, if you will do what I tell you to do and you will stay with our company, he said, you're going to live like people dream of living. And Juliet said, okay, yes. And look at her. We're in the same day. We are in the same day. It is straight up a decision. And I'm thankful that we are here, all of us. I am going to be on this phone. You better believe it. And the most important thing to me right now in this world is my family. They all are going to reactivate those sites. You hear me? That's my heartbeat right now for us, because we are building healthy, wealthy generations to impact communities. Back to you, Rick and Brenda.
You know, we weren't even on Juliet's team. We weren't on Rick's team. But look where we are now. I mean, we're in that alignment. People have come and gone, but this line has remained steady and steadfast. And that override they're talking about, the power lines, are on a international basis. So you'll be getting paid internationally. Every person that comes in, it's just amazing the lengths that they've gone to. And I just, they see it, they get it, or they don't. But we're going to speak that this will be an eye opener, and with announcements being made daily, with hits to you name it. Stay the course. Back to you, Rick.
That's powerful. I forgot. Yeah, international. And so as Latin America expands, as Europe expands, blows up, explodes, this power line is international. So that serial lineage is an international serial lineage. As we grow to 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 people internationally. And here you are now, here, locked in now, because you're here. That's so powerful. When we're talking about creating wealth that you can pass on in your will to your children's children's children, imagine that. Imagine being able to pass on a secure income stream, override, if you will, and put that in your will that continues on beyond us, but is passed on to whomever we designate in that will. Just because we stood, just because we were in position. Positioning is everything. And just because we were obedient, you may not have known what was going on. You may not have even known the business. You may be, fearful, whatever, but you're here and you're in position to take advantage of the power line. And this is a big deal. And so we're going to hear quite a few announcements, even as we lead to the convention in August. The convention in August, what you want to do is, you may not feel that you can make it, but you want to make a declaration that you're going. And we do affirmations, we do visualization, we do feeling, like you're sitting there hearing the announcement for the first time at the convention. And I know everybody on this call, you wouldn't even be surprised as things start falling in place. Money appears, time appears, situations appear, people appear. They come to cause. When you make a declaration, they come to the fulfillment of the declaration. And when you begin to start seeing that happen, you're like, oh, if you never made the declaration, you wouldn't even, you're getting what you have. When you make the declaration, now you're getting what you say and what you feel. See, this is how Brenda and I actually build a business. We're not looking under every stone. We're not peeking between, clothes racks. Are you, Brenda? I don't think you are. She is shopping, but we're not peeking, looking for people and crawling on the floor, pop up over here. No, we are declaring and watching the fulfillment, the manifestation of living in the end of the desire and seeing the fulfillment of the desire. See, that's when you're working smarter, not harder. Why? Because things are coming to you. Over to you, Brenda.
Yeah, that's funny. And that was Dawn Brewer. So if you ever have a conversation with her, just ask her. Brenda Reese wanted me to know wanted you to tell me how many malls did you get kicked out of? Because that's what Dawn was determined. And she would go into malls and talk to people and had her little clipboard, and she was doing a travel survey. And of course, after they complete this travel survey, she would then give them a vortex site. So people get creative. And when you get creative, so for a minute there, she had to go to different malls in Denver because she had already been kicked out a couple of them, or go on another end of a mall, and hopefully the same security cop wouldn't see her. But it's all about being creative and doing what you need to do, because the days are going to go by. And like Ron, he said he's always on. Rick is like that. He's always on. You figure we went to a taste of Charleston a few weeks back, and I was like, what is this? This is for what? And so we did. We paid the ticket and we went, and it was like all the chefs in the area had their famous dish. So it was an open bar, and you got to go around and eat all the different foods, and it was fun. And we met a couple of guys that I don't know, they did something in the community, whatever. But it's all about doing what you know to do, because you never know what door you open will be that door. So when things come to mind, you should do it. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, at that event, the event organizer for the whole expo, Black Expo, he got up, and this was like an event prior to the actual expo, which started that Saturday. So this was like a Friday. And the organizer got up on the stage and he was like, yeah, we've been doing this for so many years. And since we've been doing this, we have raised $60,000.
He said 13 years they raised
$61,000. 13 years, $60,000. And of course, I'm sitting out there going, what? No money. $60,000 if you had the vortex. And so he's on the stage, and I'm like a ways back from the stage, like ways back. And so I said, Brenda, I got to go and talk to this guy. And so I make my way all the way up, going through all of these people, make my way all the way to the front, to the front, to the front. When he comes off the stage, I said, hey, only $60,000 in 13 years? I said, we need to talk. We need to talk. $60,000. I said, we're overriding the return of travel. And we have a booking link called the Vortex, where people can actually book and save money, and you earn what they save as an organization. He said he reached in his pocket, and somebody wanted him to take a picture, so he took a picture. He said, hold on. He reaches in his pocket after the picture. Here's my card. Give me a call. Now, a righteous indignation rose up within me when I heard 13 years and how he said $60,000. And I went, oh my Lord. Just looking at the people that was in the venue, I'm like, only six. And so anyhow, that's listening to that voice and being driven. The courage to do what I did was the voice and something on the inside that said, you got to tell him. And you got to catch him when he comes off that stage. And there was something on the inside. And that's something, me being obedient to that voice on the inside, compelled him to reach in his pocket and give me a card. If I hadn't said nothing, that interaction would never have happened. What is it that you have been given direction to do, to be obedient to do, that if you just, override all fear, override all whatever, and say, okay, here it goes, and do that, and then there's something on the other side. There's something on the other side of your obedience. There's something on the other side of your fear that you've been looking for. Back to you, Brenda.
Yeah, so I was just saying, all those little things that you do and you don't even think about it, that's you working your business. Because you should be able to work your business when you're out doing what you always do. When I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves undue pressure where you don't need to, where you say, okay, I got to go out and meet new people. I got to go out. So as soon as you go out and meet new, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to look at you. Nobody's going to smile at you. It's just not going to happen. But if you just go out to do what you always do and show yourself friendly, people will talk. People will say hi, have a good day. And some won't, but you keep going on and keep moving because you're out there looking for people who are looking for you. People who have been saying, I need something else to do. What is it can I do? Because I need to have another income coming in. Because a lot of people have lost their income and they're trying to figure out what to do next. And I think Surge365 is a great way for them to start because they don't have to stop if they want to still find a 9 to 5. They can still find that, but along with looking for that, or even when they find that, they can still be working Surge365. And now knowing that no one can fire them. You know who has a really good story too? If you ever, again, talk to Dawn, this is when Rick and I met her, way back when. Dawn was with a company for 20 years, and the owner, without any notice, decides to sell. So all the people in the company was let go with no type of severance, no type of pension, nothing, just let go. And Dawn made up in her mind, because we was on the bus leaving this convention, coming back to Denver, and she said, never again will that happen to me. See, people will get in a mode, never again, but then they're quick to forget. They're quick to forget. They get a job, the income's coming in, every 2 weeks, whatever, and then they forget. But I don't think she has ever forgotten the reason why she started really working Surge365. And so that's what you have to remember too. What's the reason that you really started working this business? And remember that and always stay focused on it, because she's the one, man. She'll tell you in a minute what she's doing. She's always figuring out some kind of way. You'll see her little slogan on Facebook. Or I remember when she was in the running to get the title of director. We were we were somewhere in Jamaica. I don't remember. But Rick and I was laid back. She was hustling. She was on the phone, missing dinner dates with us. And I was like, where's Dawn? And Mary, she's in her room. She's talking to so-and-so. I'm like, oh, yeah, she's trying to make that goal. So, and everybody does things differently. And we're sitting back, laughing and talking with people and exchanging phone numbers and then reaching out later. But Dawn had a goal, and that's how she felt she had to go about getting it. So however you feel, just do it. However you feel that you need to do your goal or to reach your goal, just do it. It's going to happen. It's happened. It's over. It's just up to you. Somebody else?
Yeah, Brenda and Rick, like Rick says, allow them to sort themselves by the intents of their hearts. We've had those experiences, and most of us probably remember our good friend Wolf Dog. God rest his soul.
Oh, yeah.
But he got us into the auction with those NFL players. And we spent the weekend down there. It was a fantastic time. And people came in to donate their time and their names. Those retired NFL star Super Bowl champions. And they were coming in saying that, we're going to help the community. We're going to do this camp on a Saturday. We're going to do an auction and donate these funds to the community. And we went down there and had that experience, which was fantastic. But then he got up, the operator, the guy in charge, who was the strength and conditioning coach for the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. So they all get a ring, the whole organization gets a ring, even the Water Boys.
Yeah.
But he got up there and announced that they had raised something like $12,000 in like 8 years or something like that. We were like, what? So You know, we're like, and they're auctioning off these items, and I mean, they are expensive items, but it almost was I had a feeling like they were keeping their glory alive. You know what I mean? It's why are you doing it? What is your, you know, it's realer than real out there right now, and it's getting realer by the day. So now is the time where they're going to come for real with the need, and you know what? We have the seed. So stay focused, stay the course. I mean, I could tell you some more stories about the same thing. These fundraisers where they put all this effort in, but they really were not bringing in anywhere near this the plan we have in Surge. If they just believe it. So, like I said, the times and the circumstances are going to drive them right to us, and that's what's happening right now. Back to you, Brenda.
You know, that's true, Glenn. Just what you said. They'll sort themselves out. All you have to do is put it out there. Like you said, you know, where the seed, and they have the need and they want this. And so what you want to do is just present it to people. See, I think what we do is, and we don't do it anymore, so I'm not going to say that, but sometimes you find yourself excited for one person. Oh man, if this one person sees it, they know all these people and they're into this whole organization. But if they don't see it, don't waste your time there. I remember back in the day, folks would spend all week trying to get one person to a Thursday presentation. And then when they didn't show up, then they would continue on following up, hoping they can get them to the next Thursday. See, you're losing time trying to concentrate on one person. Just put it out there and find somebody else. Put it out there and find somebody else. Don't waste time on one person, because then that one person starts thinking, oh, well, you'll do this next week. Okay, fine. And even if something come up next week, then I'll do it the next time. Or I don't know. I mean, I'll do it next month because you're doing this every such and such. So, but don't spend so much time on them. It's almost like, okay, well, when you get time, because I got to go over here and I got to deal with somebody else. And that reminds me of a story that happened with Rick. This one guy he knew back in the Springs, and that's when we couldn't even hit the leaderboard with 32,000 coming in a month. We couldn't even hit the leaderboard because you had Ron Head and those guys getting a 200 and something $1,000 a month. We couldn't even hit the leaderboard. But this one guy, so we were sponsoring a lot of our team because we had a good tax accountant who said, you either spend your money or you're going to pay it in taxes. So you have to have a write-off. So we were sponsoring a lot of people to go to the red carpet. We had Charlotte White. We would pay for one of those buses, and she would just load the people up on the bus. And they would leave early in the morning, get there for red carpet, and get back on the bus and go back that evening, you know. So she was doing that for us. And of course, we flew in, and then it was like, hey, how y'all doing? But it was fun. But one thing happened to Rick. It makes me smile every time I talk about it. He had this one guy, and I really think you like that guy, Rick. I really think you liked him, and I really think you felt that he had some good potential. But the guy was being really cocky. So Rick says to him, hey man, you know, let me fly you out to red carpet so you could meet Coach and, you know, Scott at the time. And then the guy says to Rick, oh yeah, I need a vacation, right? So in other words, he was just gonna take a vacation on his dime. And then Rick pulled it back and said, well, you know what? Nah, I was just practicing on you. Yeah, I was just practicing on you. So because it was like, why let him just take advantage of your generosity and talk about he need a vacation? No, you're going out there to look at a business, not just go on vacation. And of course, he's the type of person that would have not showed up to any of the events and just done that, you know, probably go out to the arch and all the stuff.
No,
he was on vacation.
I was just kidding. I was practicing. So yeah. No, it's good. I was just practicing on you.
So, you meet so many people. You figure with all of us on the phone, we could probably write a book. I know, not probably. We could write a book on all the ways that you get rejected, all the ways that people you thought would not do anything and end up being the best thing, because you don't know. You definitely don't want to prejudge folks, but you don't want to let people take advantage of you. You want to make sure they realize this is an urgency for me and for you. And if you don't want to take it that way, well, that's fine. I remember, I think it was Roland. He did a training. I went to one of his training one time, and I mean, the room was packed out. He had a really big team, and the room was packed out for his meeting. And he had people come up there, and he had different categories where you had the first person who wanted to run, and then somebody wanted to read and learn. And so with the person who wanted to read and learn, he would put them over to the side, show them the website, tell them, go ahead and read and learn, get everything you need to do. The other person had to find out from his family. It's like, oh, there's another person want to pray about it. And all he did, he put them where they needed to be. And then he only spent his time with the person who wanted to run, the person who wanted to really make this work. And then with them, he did the same thing. If they had somebody who wanted to learn, put them over there. And what he did, a great illustration, because he had the people come up out of the audience. He said, you come up. And so by the time he was done, he probably had about 20 people scattered across the front of the room. But you had the read and learn group. You had the, I have to ask my family group. I have to do this. And then in the I'm a run group, he probably had like 3-4 people. But all the other areas had 10, 5, But with that run group, run people, so he did that illustration to show that you only want to work with the ones who want to work. You don't want to waste your time trying to get, I know people always call Rick all the time and, oh, you want to be my accountability coach? You want to be my accountability coach? No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to get up on every whatever day and call you to see if you've done what you're supposed to be doing. Because if you need somebody to be an accountability coach, come on. Now, hold up. There are some people that need that and some people who need to do it, and it does work for some people. But to me,
that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Accountability coach for your future, for your family. Have you ever seen where that really, really worked unless they was really seeking information, not accountability? Because if you can't be accountable for your own future, and like Chantel was saying, the owners of our own legacy, can a person be an accountability coach for me as an owner of my own legacy? Just something about that. I don't know. Anybody else want to talk to that? So good to see you, Linda.
Hello.
Linda.
I was just on a webinar about the British Virgin Islands and
Really?
And Peter Island, and it has reopened. So that
wow.
was
That's
good.
awesome. Do you get a certificate or?
No, well, this is a webinar, just the information. I was on a webinar a couple of weeks ago with Lowe's, and I won their swag bag with Yeti cups and all kinds of neat stuff. So that was fun.
So they had a Yeti cup in the swag bag? The Yeti,
yeah.
That's a pretty good brand.
It is.
Yeah, we have Yetis.
My daughter.
My daughter gets it for us. But you know what, Linda? What's so interesting about you taking those classes? You take those classes because you want to.
Yes.
And because you enjoy them, And when you get the knowledge, you share it. And that's what I'm saying. You don't need someone to say, oh, Linda, remember you signed up for that class, so make sure you're on that class. You're going to do it. You don't need, they send you the reminder.
Yeah.
And you do the class.
Yeah.
And that's because people do what they want to do. And if you don't want to take a class on, because Rick, he sends us I mean, the family, we have a group chat, and he must send us at least 2 or 3 videos of Norvell a week, and either my kids are listening to them or they're not. There's no way that we can make them. It's there. Right. The information is for you. People will listen to it or they won't. So it's really back to that whole time thing. People are going to do what they want to do with their time. Mm-hmm. And you can't manage anybody with their time. So, they have to do it on their own.
Exactly.
So that's good, Linda. Congratulations on passing.
Greetings. I see Ohio in the room. Hello, Zarita.
Hello.
And I want to get back to what Ron. Hey, Linda.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. I want to get back to what Ron was talking about, because I truly believe if you look at this like, oh, I'm running people down to sell them something versus I'm here to serve.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get stuck right there.
Yeah.
And it's like a cycle of, okay, I'm getting up today, and then I got to decide, we have a gift in our hands. People need this gift. I needed the gift. That's the reason we came in the company, because we needed the gift. Mm-hmm. We stressed out people. We didn't just show up here. We were the people. Glenn was working 2 and 3 jobs and never saw the guy. Running in the house, trying to get the children organized. We had a lot going on, all kind of illness. I'm like, enough of this. I said, we need something that is going to bring us an income, and we can do it on our own time. And along came the Tillmans, who had been talking to us for about a year.
Wow.
This wasn't our time. But guess what? When it was our time, we took off running. They didn't have to train us. We went in that back office. We were so fired up about what we had received. And we were like, whoa, you see this? You see that? What? Man, then we took off running. Got on a plane. This is what I'm talking about with this legacy. You've been hearing this for years. We're not just talking this. We're building this. Family members are in here. So many of them are here. You may not see them, but they're here. We got on a plane and went to Ohio. We had a goal list, and everything had been completed on that list, except one thing, a video projector. We did not have that, but everything else had been answered on that list. I said, this is working. This is working. We're getting ready to get in the car because we're running to a meeting, but long story short, we went to Ohio, people signed up, family members signed up, got to Virginia, picked up, went to my sister's place and sat down and told her what we were doing. Girlfriend went in her room, came out with a projector, brand new.
Oh, I remember that.
You hear me? We looking at each other like, oh, this stuff works, people. Signed up her daughter. I'm telling you, this works. Just do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Do it and see what comes on the other side of it. Because it's harvest time.
Yeah, that was quite a trip. We continued on to, we rented a car, drove to St. Louis for convention, drove back to New Jersey, got on a hop to come back to the Northwest. Didn't have one coming, but they had one going to Hawaii.
Wow.
So we got on it. We were over there for about a month.
Wow.
With her brother. And then when we got home, there was a $1,000 check waiting in the mail.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. That's awesome. I remember when we first started, and because I know how people feel when they first get started, and we had nobody. And we were just looking for one. And that feeling of going up this hill, and you're at the bottom of the hill, or this mountain, and you're at the bottom of the mountain. And I was like, oh man, how will we ever, but it takes that one step, that one idea of determination, the one feeling. And I remember we sponsored our first person. But it was still like, okay, how many to go? What I didn't know is being obedient to learning, to understanding, to sharing, that one guy would come on board on our team and bring 7,000 people.
Hmm.
One
Amazing.
guy. The thing that you think you may have to do, you may not have to do it other than being in position to share. That's why everybody on this call, if you could shift your mindset to that, you are that leader. Everybody that's going to be coming in this business is coming in through you. Otherwise, they got to come in through somebody that's already in the business. And when you take the responsibility that you're going to be that leader and start understanding to sponsor, understanding to teach, understanding to build. When I made that decision, this guy shows up. I passed the torch to him. And he was like, sit down, Sonny. And he said, we're going to build you and Brenda 20 deep in my power team. At that time, we didn't know the difference between power team and first team and all that. He's in my power team where I'm getting $1,000 bonuses as he builds me 20 deep. Now, today, if I had known, I would say, man, you need to just go jump into your own power team. But no, I'm going to stay right here. This leg's going to last forever. The leg is still there. So, but the thing that you think you may have to do that looks so insurmountable, all you got to do is show up. Back to you, Brenda.
That is so true with everything everybody said. Anybody else? Wow. Well, that call last night was powerful. Rick, are they going to do another one next week, or how's that going to work?
Every week. What Delby
Every
does,
week.
he breaks down the compensation plan for the marketing side of the business. So he's not talking the travel side, but he's breaking down and every time I see it, I just go, wow. But how the $1,000 bonuses are made, the first thing a person wants to do in getting 5 folks on a team and earning that $500 and jumping into their team builder where every 7 is $1,000 bonus, every 100 is a $10,000. So he's going through that whole compensation on the marketing side of the business. But the neat thing about it, he's throwing out those little nuggets of what's coming.
That's gonna, and even with that last one, just think about it. If you have somebody, and what is so awesome about the company, let's say you have somebody who's like, I'm done, I don't want to do it, and they have been sitting out. They don't even give people a hard time if they've been sitting quiet, dormant for quite a while. They still say, okay, just reactivate. So that's one thing that's really, really nice about our company is the way they say, okay, come on, let's just reactivate. Let's get you going. And from what's getting ready to come ahead, man, everybody else who thought about it should say, okay, I'll activate. Let's see.
But you know what's so cool about it? Normally, it's when you come in the business and then everybody comes in after you. But our company is saying no. From the first person to the last, and that's continuing, we'll get on a monthly basis, we'll take 20%, and this is international, like Glenn said, we'll take 20% and we're going to send out checks.
Wow. You just can't.
You know what that is? That's employee ownership. That everybody taking responsibility to sponsor and to build and grow the business.
Yeah, that's like employees having a share in the company.
Right.
And when you have a share, and when you have an invested interest in that, you're not going anywhere. And even if your check, I have no idea what it's going to be, how they're going to calculate it. But even if your check is maybe
Brenda,
just
that's right.
$25.
Chantel is saying, I'm sorry, Brenda. Chantel said there's a company call to look out for on Monday.
Oh, okay. So there's that call that Chris is going to be doing on Monday. And then Chris will probably break it down a little bit better. LV will probably talk a little bit more. But even with that, if it's $10, whatever it is, then that means your membership is only $89.
Wow. That's
so it's all, how are you going to look at this? Look at it really like the glass is half full. And then as the company grows, that's going to grow. And who knows, when the company grows, even if you're not paying anything because you pay out $99 and you get a check for $100 once a month. Now you're paying, the company is paying for itself, and you still get all the bennies.
Wow.
And that does not even count for all the other incomes you get, your residual check, your vortex check. I get 2 checks. I'm still trying to figure out what those are for, but I'm not going to waste my time because I'm not the one trying to figure out what everything is like. I remember when we first started getting checks, I am the one that really likes to know where everything goes and why this is here. But Rick said, but I've learned from being into Surge, they're only sending me the check because I deserve it. So I don't worry about where it comes from anymore. But I remember when I first started, I was like, Rick, what's this check for? Who is this? What? He said, girl, just cash the check.
Does it cash?
I was like, you gotta tell me why they sending us $1,000? What is this? But yeah.
So that was funny when Glenn
I'm
and Chantel made $1,000 and we got what, $100? I was like, what?
Yeah, every time. And then people made $10,000 and we got $1,000. See, this company is built just to have you help other people. Because the more people you help, the
you hear
more
what she
you
just
make.
said? When somebody on our team, and they did this several times, made $10,000, the company sent us $1,000 on that $10,000.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, I told you, I'm the one that I need to know where the money is coming from. That's just how I am. I need to know. But anybody else? So that's, and I'm quite sure the call on Monday will come through an email, because they always email us and everything. And now the price for the convention has gone up $50. So you could still get your ticket, and you'll be able to get your tickets all the way up to probably the end of July, because the event starts in August. But the price will continue to go up. So I kept sending out emails last month because I wanted everybody to try to get the best price. But you'll still be able to get the tickets. It's just that it's gone up $50 now. And what else did I want to share? I can't remember. But I do want to remind everybody about our call tonight. And so you want to jump on the call. And Rick's been doing different things each Thursday night. So I don't know what he's going to do tonight.
I'm going to do it from the product perspective tonight, not just the presentation, but looking at the products that are part of Surge Travel.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So he does something different. And that's good too, because then that way when you're coming, you're not hearing the same presentation. You're learning something new, because there's always something new to learn with our company. Mm-hmm. There's always something new. And even if you get on the travel side, there's constantly something new. The compensation side, it's not constantly new because it's pretty much steadfast. It's the same. But it's really interesting to say, oh, is that how that $500 comes? Is that how that $1,000 comes? The $10,000 come? Oh, the first 100 days, that's how they make $50,000. What? So it's really great. It's good. And when you find somebody who says, man, I need to make some money fast, and they know a lot of people and they're willing to do the work, get the go parties going, work with them, because those are the kind of people that's going to explode in this business. So all righty, anybody else? Well, tonight's our meeting, and Rick will post it. The Monday night meeting, I'm quite sure the company will shoot out an email, because I just saw an email about the convention and some other things. So you definitely want to pay attention and look for that, so you can see the Zoom number and the time. But tonight our call, and Rick will post something on our group page. If you're not on the group page, contact one of us so we can get you on the group page. And so that's when we shoot out little information about the company and what's going on, different things about folks, bonuses, different achievements that people have done. And we're just excited. We're excited about everything that's going on. So you know what I'd like to say? That we are the most trusted travel team in Surge365. And I want everybody to go and have a great rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you on the beaches of the world and the call tonight. All righty. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.